Hello, welcome to High Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another unboxing from our Shadows of Brimstone game. This is a Deluxe enemy pack called the Flesh Stalkers and Flesh Drones. So this is just more than just one enemy. It's a kind of a group of enemies, but pretty cool. So without further ado, let's check it out. So it's again for our Shadows of Brimstone game. And let's see if we can... There we go. Alright, so you might not be able to read that. Sorry for a little bit of glare there. But we will read as best we can. Flesh Stalkers are a mysterious and ancient alien race. Masters of super science and the macabre. They work in the shadows, only emerging when required to accomplish their fiendish goals. Known for ruthless and gruesome experiments they perform, the Flesh Stalkers splice the DNA and body parts of various creatures and people together, creating hideous monstrosities to do their bidding. Of all the wretched constructs, the most numerous are the flesh drones, mindless automatons cobbled together from hapless souls stolen in the night by the Stalker from the perfect hive of worker drones. When not in use, they are stored dominant on rows of hooks, hanging from the ceiling by the crude handles attached to their backs, waiting to be activated for the next call to harvest new biomaterial and bodies. Lovely. The Deluxe Enemy Pack contains everything you need to add to the sinister Flesh Stalker and his gruesome Flesh Drones minions to your games of Shadows of Brimstone. Include our 6 Flesh Drone models and 1 Flesh Stalker large model, the enemy record sheets for them, a host of new cards themed around the Flesh Stalker, including all of the threat cards needed to add them to your games, and 2 new missions focusing on these deadly new enemies. So 2 new missions also. So a whole bunch of stuff inside here. So let's check it out. See what we got. Alright. So this one's definitely a bigger box than the Hell Vermin one that we just did an unboxing of. Let's check out. See what we got here. Alright. Oh yeah, definitely a much thicker thing of cards and some markers. So yeah, definitely much bigger than our regular enemy pack that we got for the Hell Vermins. Alright. Might as well show you the tokens first since they came out. So it looks like we got some more bleeding markers. And I'm not sure what these are, the blue ones are. It looks like some kind of... I don't know what it is. It looks like a fish almost. I don't know what that is actually. And the backs are stun markers, some stun markers. Down the bottom there. Alright, so let's see. Let's take a look at Flesh Stalker and Flesh Drones. So we read, yeah, this would have been easier to read here. This is basically the same thing that was on the back of the box. So if you guys want to read that, if you can. Here we go. So pause it if you'd like to read it. And this one's got definitely a lot more to it because it's got some new enemies, new cards, epic threats. So the other one didn't have epic threats in it. This one only had high. This one, Flesh Stalker Confrontations, Flesh Stalker, bleeding and stun markers. So the markers that were included. Sinister Experiments. So you can use like some of the elite abilities from other monsters to create totally new monsters in this, so it's kind of neat. So here's the first mission, experimentation. As you arrive in town, the shops are a disarray of people and quite shaken by the recent series of attacks. I know you can't call these crazy demons and creatures that usually cause us grief normal, but in the last few days we've seen things like never seen before. They all sewed together with stitches and extra limbs. They look like some damn fool has been playing mad scientist with them. And I tell you what, we all is scared. we're next to be taken and experimented on. Old Pete thinks he knows what they're coming from. Tell him, Old Pete. So that's experimentation. The first one, Out of Time, is the second mission in here. Sitting at the table with the local saloon, spirits are high as you laugh and kick back a stiff drink, cheering recent victories and drinking away fresh defeats. It seems things have finally calmed down. Bursting through the door with a crash, a weary traveler, ragged and limping, hurries over to your table. Not too late. I'm not too late this time. All taken back by his crazed ramblings and aggressive nature, and he grabs one of you by the scruff. It's looking like a mirror as you realize the traveler is a drifter, a terrified version of yourself. Hissing a desperate warning, he looks around to the whole posse. I've come back. Everything else is dead. You're all dead. I stole his time splicer. You've got to stop him, the flesh stalker. You can't let him finish. You're all going to die. Alright, so there's facts here, and then in the back, kind of a painting guide. So these are the flesh drones up top there. To paint them. Different color combinations you can use. And then the flesh stalker, which is pretty cool. I think he's large. Oh, I guess they want you to prime him in white and prime them in white also. Interesting. Okay, and oh yeah, let's look at the enemy sheet first. So we'll go with the flesh stalker first. We'll go with his regular side. So 2d6 initiative, so that's pretty cool. So he's got varying initiative, which is cool. You can go anywhere from 2 to 12, so you never know how fast or slow he's going to move. He's got like scissors and everything on him, like a tortured lab coat. So he's got a large size, which I thought he's alien, ancient, and sinister. Keywords: large, size, terror. A hero starting their activation on the map tile takes 3 horror hits. Tools of Terror. At the start of each turn, draw 1 Tool of Terror card for the Flesh Stalker to use on his turn. Oh, so different abilities there, it looks like. Get that a little closer for you to read. Sinister Methods. Flesh Stalker hit rolls of 6+ do double damage. Ouch. Interdimensional Phasing. Moves through other models and changes targets each turn. Also immune to critical hits unless adjacent to the attacker. Interesting. And Shadow Shift. A Flesh Stalker will Shadow Shift after making its combat attack against each turn, as well as any other attack in which it took 3 or more wounds. Interesting. To Shadow Hit, the Flesh Stalker bounces 3 times, kind of like Dynamite. Yeah, like Dynamite. Swapping spaces of any model moved into. When swapping it with a hero, the hero takes d6 wounds, ignoring defense and armor. Ouch. These guys are nasty. So no range attack, all melee attack, but 3+. 4 combat dice do 3 damage each. Defense of 4, kind of like the Hungry Dead, so except with more hit points, obviously a lot more hit points. 24 health points plus 3 per hero. So if you get a party of 4, it would be 12 extra, so 36. So it can go anywhere from 27 to 36 hit points, depending upon how many you have in your party. Most of mine parties have 2 in them right now, so that would be 30 hit points. So that's pretty nasty. So kind of like a mini boss. And XP is 15 plus 5 for each wound. And then you have your move of 12, so basically move anywhere in the map tile. And escape 5+, so very hard to escape from. And there's an elite chart here. Focus. Here we go. So, Death Wave, Vile, Beyond Words, Evil Beyond Time, Ruthless, Intellect, Master of Darkness and Tools of Death. So you can read those if you like. Stop it there. Ooh, that's pretty nasty. And then in the back, even worse, 40 hit points to start with. That's awful. And then it's got some other abilities here. Terror 4 now. So 4 horror hits, Tools of Terror, Sinister Methods, Intermittent Fate. So pretty much the same stuff, except more brutal. Looks like melee still hits on a 3+. Now 6 combat dice that do 4 damage each. It was 4 that do 3 damage, so that's increased by 2 combat dice and 1 damage. And then here are your elite abilities. Focus there. There we go. So Death Wave, Vile Beyond Worlds, Evil Beyond Time, Ruthless Intellect, Master of Darkness. So it's pretty much the same thing except more intense. There we go. So that's the Death Stalker enemy chart. Now you have the Flesh Drones. These should be pretty interesting. So medium size. That's pretty bad. So they're a construct, yeah, of the kind of like the Scarecrow or Touch of Evil or something like that. Basically something that's constructed. Or like the pilot Targons, that kind of stuff. The pylons, target pylons. Flesh Drones construct medium size. Initiative of 4, so they're pretty fast. This enemy cannot take more than 3 wounds for any single hit. Extra damage is wasted. Vicious weapons. Flesh Drone hits require armor and have a damage equal to the hit roll. Okay. Ouch. So movement at 8, that's pretty fast. Escape 5+, so they're really hard to escape from. Range, no range hits, so they're all melee, so 4+. Combat, 2 combat dice, and it looks like, what is that for? Oh, vicious weapons. Hits ignore armor and have a damage roll equal to the hit roll. Oh, so you can't use armor, and the damage is equal to whatever the hit roll is. So if it's a 4, then it's 4 damage. If it's a 5, 5 damage is 6 damage. Oops, so it's interesting. Another variable damage thing, which is cool. Defensive 2, and health of just 5, but that's for a minion. That's average, I guess. So elite chart. So you have your elite abilities. Wicked Workshop, Failed Experiments, Katari Reinforced Skeletons, Relentless Drones, Necro Infusers, and Charged Weapons. So I was just looking for anything that... So I don't see anything about the elite. It grabs the elite abilities of other monsters, but that... I mean, of other types of monsters, but I've seen that used. That might be, maybe that's a brutal thing. So brutal... All the same information there. 6 initiative instead of 4. Endurance of 3. The enemy cannot take more than 3 wounds. Same thing as before. Yeah, same thing with the damage to hit roll. 4 combat dice. Melee still 3+. It was 4+ in the other one. Defense still 2. Health of 8 this time instead of 5. XP of 40. And they had XP of 25 originally. And then you have your elite abilities here. Wicked Workmanship, Failed Experiments, Iron Fiber Muscle Implants, that's something different. Jagged Blades, Mind Lurch, and Charged Weapons. Interesting. Alright, so there are your enemy cards there. And then finally, well, 2 more things. The models and the cards. So here are the... I think this is probably for the Flesh Stalker, the main guy. So that's pretty cool. It's got the little, I don't know if you can see that, how well you can see it, but it's got pretty good detail on the coat. So it's got some scissors and knives and stuff hanging from on a chain from the... Now, let's see if I can get this little focus. No, that's probably as good as I can get it. It's kind of like the body of the Flesh Stalker, of the boss, in his hand. So this one's got a lot more to put together, definitely. Although not too bad, I guess. And then these are basically your bodies, the Flesh Drones. So these are pretty much all one piece, which is good. with, except for the arm, the hook on it. That's like it's a weapon there, the hook. 2 arms. And yep, so pretty much there's 3 of these. So pretty good detail on these. And looks like they just got like a voided thing for its head. It's not really even a head, just kind of like this shows in the box here. The just that. Kind of like there's another enemy, the Darkstone Scavengers or something like that. The ones that go around the harvesters, I think. They kind of look a little bit like them. Except more messed up, probably, from the experimentation. And then you have your bases right here. So you have your large base for the Stalker. And you have your medium bases right here for the harvesters. I mean, for the drones. And then finally, and we may not have enough sleeves left to sleeve all our cards here, because we definitely have a lot of cards. So we have, let's see here. So these are the special abilities of the or the weapons of the Flesh Stalker. So these are his tools of terror, which the Stalker can use randomly. So shock prod. In the move this turn, the Flesh Stalker attacks all adjacent heroes. Anytime the hero takes 1 or more wounds from the Flesh Stalker this turn, they gain a stun marker. Ooh, nasty. Varezic's Blade. So this was an alien tech and hand weapon. This is alien tech, hand weapon, and blade. So they don't have any prices, so they're just abilities for the Flesh Stalker. At the end of the move, the Flesh Stalker attacks all adjacent heroes. Wow. Anytime a hero takes 1 or more wounds from the Flesh Stalker this turn, they gain a bleeding marker. So stun and bleeding markers. And some nasty rusty scissors. Ancient tech and flesh shears. Ancient tech and hand weapon. Horror hits from the Flesh Stalker's terror ability do 3 sanity damage each turn. This turn, sorry. Ooh, harvesting syringe. Alien tech and medical. Whenever the Flesh Stalker's shadow shifts into a space that a hero with a hero this turn, that hero takes peril die of damage instead of the normal d6, which is 3 to 6. And the Flesh Stalker heals P wounds. So basically, it looks like it takes out, stabs it into you, and takes your blood and injects into itself so it can heal. That's pretty nasty. And then we have our Ghillie Saw, alien tech, hand weapon, and medical. +1 combat. So with adjacent to the Flesh Stalker this turn, the hero to hit rolls of 1 cause d6 wounds to that hero. Oh, so that means if we roll a 1 when we're attacking it, and our hit to hit rolls, we take d6 wounds from our 1s. So that could be horrible. That is a nasty ability there. And then we have our Fear Caster, alien tech and madness. This turn, the Flesh Stalker's terror is replaced with unspeakable terror, affecting the same adjacent map tiles. Also, heroes adjacent to the Flesh Stalker that are about to make an attack must first pass a willpower save or lose the attack. Wow. And then, looks like, I think this is our, wow, is that our last one? Looks like we get 2 more, at least. Time Splicer. So, alien tech and time. This turn, the Flesh Stalker activates its initiative level as normal, but then also activates again at each different initiative level shown on the individual dice. Wow. So it's got 3 attacks. So example, if 2d6 rolls for initiative are 5 plus 3 equals 8, the Flesh Stalker would take a full activation at initiatives 8, 5, and 3. So wow, that is super horrible. That is bad. So 3 activations. So it attacks 3 different times during the turn. Ouch. So imagine if you get 6 and a 6, 12, 6, and 6. Or probably just 12 and 6, but still, that's probably 12 and 6 and 6, actually. And then you have your Slave Pulse, alien tech and control. Any hero that starts his activation adjacent to the Flesh Stalker this turn must pass a Spirit 6+ test to resist the mind control of the Slave Pulse or lose their activation. Wow. Shot Prod. Do we get that one already? Yeah, I think we did. So pretty nasty abilities here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. So some definite horrible stuff. It's definitely a cool enemy though. Well, and then you have some more cards. So Fiendish Goals. So these might be the ones we have where you splice other enemies and stuff like that. Okay, Fiendish Goals. So Harvest Biomaterial. Yeah, this is it. Each hero is assigned one biomaterial token to represent genetic material a Flesh Stalker wishes to harvest, so they can harvest from you. Flesh Stalker only select a target each turn from those and still have a biomaterial token. Anytime the Flesh Stalker does 5 wounds or more to a hero, he also collects biomaterial taken from them. Ooh, jeez. Once the Flesh Stalker has collected 3 biomaterial tokens, he has all the needs and withdraws, adding D3 growing dread cards to the stack. Wow. So they can leave during attack after they harvest what they want from you. That's pretty nasty. Alter History. So that was another Fiendish Goal. Flesh Stalker has, I think you might draw one of these, maybe at the beginning, to see which one they get, possibly. I'm not sure exactly how that works. Flesh Stalker has come back in time to damage their past and rewrite the future. At the start of every turn, heroes recover a grit on a roll of 4+ each. Oh, that's good. The Flesh Stalker will only select a target each turn from those with grit. Oh, okay. So there's a penalty to getting grit because they'll select targets from those that have grit. Anytime a Flesh Stalker does 4 wounds or more to a hero, they also steal a grit token from them. During this fight, count all grit used by the heroes stolen by the Flesh Stalker. Oh, wow. Count all grit used by the heroes or stolen by the Flesh Stalker. Once the grit total reaches 3 times the heroes in the posse, so if you have 2 it would be 6, the Flesh Stalker withdraws, adding D6 growing dread cards to the stack. For this confrontation, all heroes must get a total number of critical hits on the Flesh Stalker equal to 2 times the heroes in the posse. If this happens, he retreats. Wow. Interesting heroes, though. I mean, enemy. Searching for a relic. The Flesh Stalker is searching for a powerful relic to further his goals. Select a random hero that has 1 or more artifacts, and then a random artifact from those heroes carries. This artifact can be from any world. If the heroes have no artifact, discard and draw a different Fiendish Goal. The Flesh Stalker automatically targets the hero carrying the artifact with him. Anytime the Flesh Stalker does 5 or more wounds to the hero with the artifact, the hero must pass a Strength 6+ test to hold onto it. If failed, or the hero with the artifact is KO'd, the Flesh Stalker immediately withdraws, stealing the artifact. Wow. For this confrontation, the Flesh Stalker has health of 10 plus 3 per hero, and it's plus 10 if brutal. If defeated, he retreats. Collect test subject. This was it. We already did this one. Yeah, so 5 nasty Fiendish Goals. So it's definitely a really powerful enemy. Okay, then we have some Derelict ship artifacts, which is interesting. So if you have the Derelict ship expansion, which we do, we haven't opened it yet, but these are some ones you add to the deck of the, Derelict shipped artifacts deck. So that's pretty cool. So drone storage. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but you can if you want to. Bio scan tagged. Disturbing Workshop. Expera Mortis. Yeah, so this is really good for the Derelict ship. And then here are some. Oh, these were encounter cards. I'm sorry. These were encounter cards I just read right here. And then these are the artifacts. Bloodhound Scout Probe +1 initiative. Once per adventure, you may look at the top D6 map cards, whichever world you're in. Discard the 2 of them. Put them rest back in any order. There's that Chill Saw, that Ghillie Saw. That was the special ability he had, or something. One of the cards he had. Sinister Experiments, I think it was. So you can get this as a weapon. That's pretty cool. +1 combat. Adjacent enemies take 2 wounds, ignoring defense to any to hit rolls of 1 while they are attacking. Oh, so this is just the opposite. So if the enemies roll a 1, they can take hits from this. That's cool. Requires strength of 3 or higher to use. So that's nice, neat too. There's a strength requirement on those. I like that. It's like an RPG. Drone control box, +1 cunning. Construct enemies on your map tile are -2 defense. Cool. Once per adventure, you may reroll the Hold Back to Darkness roll. That is nice. That can be handy. Anything that you can reroll dice from Hold Back to Darkness is cool. There's not many cards that do that, but there are some cards. Obviously, this is one of them that allows you to do it once per adventure. And then finally, Transdimensional Warp Jump. Discard at any time to activate a Transdimensional Warp Jump, even if KO'd. Oh, nice. You immediately count as fleeing the adventure, but may ignore the penalties for failing the mission. That's kind of cool. So you can flee a mission without receiving all the penalties. That's cool. Alright, so more cards definitely. So we have a few more. Now we have some mine encounters. 4 of those. Drone Hive. We're not going to read the whole thing there, but that's one of them. Escape the Patient. Sinister Admonition is an attack, a low threat card attack. Abomination, sorry. Gruesome Handiwork. So 4 encounters for the mine deck, which is always good. And then you have your Otherworld threat cards. So these are the other worlds that can appear. And so apparently the Hell Vermin can only appear in the mines, but I'm sure you can put them in other things. But here's some Otherworld threat cards, which are cool. So these guys can also appear in the Caverns of Cinder, which is cool. And there's a torture. They change what type they are. They're torture drones. So 1 or 2 heroes, D3 +1 torture drones. And it tells you how to set them up and everything. These might be the ones that you get like elite abilities from other creatures, I think. Not this one though. So that's pretty cool. Another one of torture drones. So these are 2. Those are those. And then you have your Flesh Stalker Confrontation. So these are just for the drones, and this one is for the. These are all Caverns of Cinder. 1 Flesh Stalker and possible for 1 or 2 heroes, 2 torture drones. PRL die of torture drones with 3 to 4, and 5 to 6 heroes, 6 torture drones. So you'd probably have to substitute for that since you only get 3 in the box here. So you maybe have to have either 2 packs of it or something like that. I think you could get another Flesh Stalker Deluxe Enemy pack too. Okay, so that is the. Whoa, sorry. Apologize for that. Our flimsy little stand here. Okay. Alright, let's see here. And then we have Otherworld threat cards for. These must be the Derelict ship. So the Derelict ship ones. And then just your regular, same type of things. Derelict flesh drones, I think. And then another flesh drone one. I think these are the same. And then you have your Flesh Stalker Confrontation there. So they're basically the same things that were for the Caverns of Cinder. So the 2 worlds that they have cards for are the Derelict ship and the Caverns of Cinder. So that's pretty cool. And then you have your regular threat cards, which are a lot of these. What do we got here? Oh, these are just regular. Oops. These were stuck together pretty well. If I can get them unstuck here. There we go. Yeah, these were stuck. You probably heard that. So basically, how to use Sinister Experiments. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can stop if you like. Okay. And then the backs of this, Flesh Stalker Confrontation, how to set it up. Okay. And then you have your bleeding markers, how to use those. I think we've had these before. And then you have your stun markers, how to use those. And then your fiendish goals, okay, how to use those. So withdraws and retreats. And then you have your tools of terror. And how do you draw those and use those? If it will focus. Of course it won't, probably. But anyway, those are those. And then your low, medium, high, and epic threats. So you have your low threats, which are 2 of those. So your peril dice of flesh drones. And your D3 plus 1 flesh drones with 1 sinister experiment. Then you have your medium threats. 3 of those. 4 of those. You have your 6 flesh drones. 2 of those. And then you have your, so you definitely need another enemy pack for that. Flesh Stalker Confrontation. And there's 1 of those, 2 of those. No, 1 of those, sorry. Yep, okay. And then you have your high threats, which are your Flesh Stalker Confrontation. With 1 Flesh Stalker and 6 Flesh Drones, you draw a Fiendish Goals card to see what Flesh Stalker is trying to accomplish and how to stop them. So again, these are the high ones. So there's 2 of those and 3 of those. So all 3 of them are those right there. So 3 highs. And then finally the epic ones, these 4 of those. It's got to be horrible. So the ones for the Derelict ship are Flesh Stalker and D3 plus 1 Flesh Drones. 3 to 4 is Peril Die of Flesh Drones and 1 Sinister Experiment, and then 5 to 6, 6 Flesh Drones and 2 Sinister Experiments. So that's for the Derelict ship. And then you have another one for the Derelict ship, which is a Flesh Stalker and 1 threat card, depending upon your hero level, or how many heroes you have. And then you have that's Derelict ship also. And then the same thing for the Caverns of Cinder. And then the other one is the same thing. Ooh. So this is assuming you have 2 of these packs. 2 Flesh Stalkers. So yeah, so they kind of encourage you to get another Flesh Stalker pack, which we may get, but for now, since we only usually play with 1 or 2 heroes, we'll just use this and adjust accordingly. Yeah, so these guys are pretty nasty. Definitely looking forward to getting this one to the table. So that's Shadows of Brimstone, Flesh Stalker, and Flesh Drones Deluxe Enemy Pack. Very fun stuff. So we have a few of these Deluxe Enemy Packs, so and definitely want to get some more of those. So take care and God bless. Happy New Year as we approach 2022. Hope all is well and be safe and God bless. Bye-bye now.